That feels like a good place to start. I've already made what you can see is a little bit of a pile back in there. There's a little bit of paper underneath it. I haven't grabbed much paper because I don't like burning paper for the most part, but I've got a good sized pile and I've got some wet wood in there that's not going to burn very well. And I've got some wood in the center, which is this, I believe it's pine. It's not super dry, like it's partially green, but it's a little bit dry. It's not going to catch very easily, but it's the fodder for a lot of the pile here. So what I'm doing is just building a fire, building as if I'm making a large fire without any flame there whatsoever. And I'm just grabbing every splinter, every little piece, and these tiny little pieces, those will go in on top of things. And actually, sometimes it just falls apart and like, well, that'll just fit somewhere else. It'll just have to tuck in a different way. And sometimes the pile entirely collapses and I think, well, that's good. It's gonna, if it collapses when it's on fire, that's even better. And then the bed of coals that's down in, and sometimes I just grab stuff like this because I'm not sure how it'll burn, and just drop it in there and see where it lands. Whatever. I don't really care too much about it right now. The point is that building this whole thing as if the flame is already there, as if this is already completed, along the same lines of, I think of, there's a form of yoga, thanks to Yoga with Adriene and Adriene Mishler, whom I have followed for a number of years. I love the phrase, and I will say it over and over again, see it as if it's done. And I envision how this is going to burn and exactly how it's going to catch. And it's going to start somewhere over here, probably in this pile, and move its way up. And then it'll be in full flame and it'll be hot, and I'll have to back the camera off because it'll be somewhere around 450 degrees, 800 degrees closer, and so on. We can actually have a look with I have a thermometer on the camera, which is great for doing temperatures and whatnot. But right now, I'm just tucking all kinds of stuff into this on the assumption that this is all going to be in flames at some point. And there's a lot of splinters here because I just broke up a couple of these larger logs. But sometimes I see this stuff, it's like, oh, this is hardwood. This is really good hardwood. And it'll break into more like pieces, chunks. And chunks can be really good in the middle of a fire because they make great embers. And when you've got a bunch of embers in the center, those give you the sort of the charcoal that you're wanting right in the middle of things. And when they catch, it adds a lot of heat to it, right in the core, which is where you want all of that rich fuel to drop. Kind of tuck these in. I have no idea where all of this is going to end up. It doesn't really matter. And some things like this, I think. The outside bark is all covered with, algae and so on. But the core of it is really solid wood. So somewhere up high where it'll get a lot of heat. And then these are kind of funny. I don't know if I can break this down too much without making a big splash. Now apparently this will have to go in somewhere later on. It's I think it's birch, but it's damp. This one's a little bit damp too, but it's maple or cherry, I'm not sure which. So a little bit of hardwood scrap. I'm not sure which one this is. It's got it kind of, I would like to use that somewhere else. So then I see, I find myself saving pieces of wood. It's kind of punky down here and there's a hole. It's got damage to it, but it's also got some solid wood in the core. And I think it would make an interesting curve to it, or something along those. It's also likely spalted because I see this damage here. So I like to slice it sideways and just follow that curve. It's beautiful, and see what the core wood here looks like and use it for something other than firewood. So then I put it in another bin entirely. It sits there like these over here. This is kind of funny. I don't know what that's going to be, but it has a nice bowl to it. So, and this is kind of like this tongue sticking over the edge into this, what could be a large ladle or spoon, like lapping, and then narrow down this piece, and a lot of the shavings that come off of this end up in there. But it's this beautiful long ladle-like thing. I have no idea, or maybe it's a pipe. I have no idea, but it will lend itself to me. And there's a chunk at the end of it. You know, I cut that off, and so on. But I love the idea that I'm just constantly working with wood. This is a beautiful piece of cedar from upstate New York. It's red, northern red cedar, and I think, well, that would be an interesting pipe too, or a bowl or a ladle or something. But then you think, well, cedar doesn't really work well with food, so what do I really want to do with that? It's aromatic cedar, so it's just pretty. And I use the splinters from that. The splinters actually, like this, are kind of perfect for getting things started. And it's aromatic, and it's like, it smells really pleasant burning it. And this is great for catching things on fire and getting them a little heat. That's actually a really good splinter for this. Birch bark might be something I would use to get this going, because the birch bark, like fat, it has oils in it that ignite easily and quickly. Of course, it puts up a little bit of black smoke too. Splinters are good, and there's a piece of colored paper. I don't really want the colored stuff in here. And this is softwood and kind of punky. I'm not sure. It has no integrity to it in terms of structural. And here's another curved piece. It's a lot like the other one before. This is a log. It could be split up, or it could be left whole for later on. Some of this stuff is drying out. It's in a perfect place for it. I'm sure some of these will break, like that one. Birch. And we'll add a little bit of heat down low. Some of these are even more breakable and crispy. There are things that I just found on the ground, partially rotted out, way dried out. But when it's dry, yeah, you've got something that's worthy of igniting, catching on fire. And when it's just too dry and punky, it really doesn't work for very much, except keeping a fire smoldering. So back to building the fire, seeing it as if it's done. A lot of what I am able to accomplish, I do with the vision that it's done already. It's where I started my YouTube channel. I didn't see any finances there or that. All I saw was myself putting my message out to the world, which is exactly what I'm doing over and over again. And I feel like I've accomplished that. It's fun to look at numbers, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't have any function. It's fun to look at, but like, I don't see an end result with that, except that I've already achieved the end results, and now I have to set new goals. This is looking pretty good. I actually want to stick something in there that'll light some of this up on fire and see where it goes, just to find out how well this is doing here. Let's see if I can grab a piece around the corner without knocking myself over or whatever. And there's is that more cedar? I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess I could see a piece of cedar. No. I'm gonna make a lot of noise. That's okay. Yeah, this is gonna splinter nicely. Use some of these really small splinters. There, just follow that down. Yep. And just sometimes there, just these fine, like following the grain down. Big fat axe. I have a narrower one, but I don't have it here with me. And then these can be splintered down further and made into really lovely pieces that will ignite easily, simply by grabbing onto the end of it, bending it, and forcing it into a, you can kind of see that it peels away nicely, and it breaks up really easily for these wonderful little matchsticks, as they were, that have nice little splinters on them that will make really wonderful. Now you're like, just ignite it already. Why won't he light it on fire? It's this whole like process. And I believe it takes a lot of patience and time also to create the fire before it happens, before it all goes. It's like we do this with our pets. If those of us who have pets, and Luna's already busy sleeping, so otherwise she would be part of this too, is we take forever to make dinner for them, right? We take all this time and put all this energy in, and we know this is a really wonderful dinner, and then they gobble it up and eat it in 30 seconds. And like, where's the appreciation in that? Gosh, there's no, but it's there. The appreciation is that they gobbled up that food. It was so good. It was made so well, and you put so much energy into it. Don't you wish it was a human at the other end that was talking to you and saying thank you for that? But the thank you is in their eating it. They love you. And their thank you is in their sticking with you, regardless. So our wonderful pets, they do in a lot of ways keep us sane. I know Luna keeps me sane a lot of the time. I'm grateful to have her with me. It feels like a godsend. When I first met her and first saw her in the catalog, the catalog being the online version of where one would find animals, I saw those eyes, the same eyes that we see in the video, that innocence and that curiosity, and also the anxiety and all of the feelings that we know that go with dogs that just want to make their people happy. And yeah. But taking the time for important things like that is good for our mind. It's like creating a mandala in the sand so that in a few seconds you can wipe it off and start with a clean slate. It's a good practice for the self. It's a good practice to acknowledge the very temporary state that everything is in flux, in challenge, and in change, and in transition, and everything is this way, which is both a relief and a stress at the same time, knowing that everything is changing and is going to change. One feels a sense of like falling over the edge of a cliff. What do you hang on to? If everything is going to change, what do you hang on to? Well, you don't. You hang on to yourself. Bottoms up. I guess maybe it's time to ignite this puppy. It's looking pretty good. I mean, I think it's just going to go right up there. Maybe I don't need the birch bark. I don't think I need birch bark. I don't think I even need paper. I'm just gonna, well, a cheat here, I'll use a lighter, but usually that's about all it takes. One like that. When I get this one lit here, I give it a little more heat just to get that one started. There we go. Usually that's all it'll take. And then I can sort of pick at that with other matchsticks. You get another matchstick going because that one just went out. This one's probably going to go out too. It's not doing really well, so we get some other parts of this ignited, or not for that matter. It's a little bit too damp. What did I do wrong? See, you're not ready. You weren't ready. I wasn't ready to ignite it. You got to put some other things in place first. These little matchsticks aren't quite enough. We'll grab another piece of cedar and shave it. Now, see, isn't that a cool one? I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but clearly I'm not going to use all of it. I just don't have the energy, but it has this nice little shape inside it, so. And it's got these nice sharp edges that need to be carved down as he works his arm to the bone here. Maybe I should go with the grain instead of against it. Okay. The nice thing about having a pocket knife, or one of the nice things about having a pocket knife, is when you need to carve something, you just pull it out and go at it. And what this is making, these beautiful shavings, which those will ignite really well. You get a little pile of them going underneath stuff. That's a good start. Now, if I got it going fast enough, I might have gone bow drill. I'm not ready to do bow drill quite yet. I don't have a good template for that, really. But maybe that's something I should go at, so I have that down as well. But in the meantime, I'll just grab this cedar because I want some cedar splinters as well. They just ignite so well, and they smell so wonderful. There's another nice big piece that I can tuck in underneath things. And the aromatic cedar, let's see, it sounds entirely different. It's sounds like, well, that's going to be, oh, it's such beautiful wood. I love working with cedar. And those shavings are just something else. I love cedar shavings. I had a bag that I used to keep near a pillow and sleep next to it, but it's a pretty potent smell, and it's not good to breathe it too heavily because it does have, there's a crystalline structure to it that I think can become airborne, as I've seen it on clothing that was kept in a cedar closet. So I don't know if that's such a good thing to breathe. It almost looks like tiny needles, almost like mold, but it looks like little tiny needles that are transparent. It's not something that I would wish on anybody. It looks like, I don't know what it looks like. Poisonous. That's what it looks like. But anyway, just carving that down a little bit for, to make a round so that I can do something with this. Maybe a bowl, maybe a spoon. I don't know. I'd get tempted to even though it's toxic, go with that. Even though it's toxic to do something with cedar. There, I certainly don't need all of it, but that will add a nice bit of, I don't care where it ends up right now, just tuck it in there, and this whole thing is going to fall apart anyway, so it'll make it both more sturdy and more unstable, more I like cram myself into the thing. I just want to speed up the process a little bit. Like, go, do it. I want to get the fire going because I want to get warm too. Starting to get on the cool side. There. Underneath things. There we go. That's more like it. Once I see a good size flame and it's heading into an area like that, and then this will just go. I should set this on time lapse, but I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to talk it all out and to work out what's going on with the fire, and then to finally see, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. This is why this matters so much. This is why there's ritual, and there's the creativity and the spirit that goes into it. It's here because it needs to be part of the whole picture. So now, once I have that going, then I feel like I can add things to this that will encourage it to go inward, like my own self going inward, sort of to pack the flame down in, as it were. It's already taken up quite a bit of space in there and is going forward, and the heat is now, I can start to feel that. The heat is coming forward on it, but just add a few more pieces to sort of round out the front of the pile here and create more that feeling like I'm developing it inward. So when I have too much shavings, like I just did like that, and I start to get this, I want to close the door a bit. So some of these pieces will fly out, and I don't know how far they'll go, but then I want to encourage that by packing in other ones on top of it and encouraging it to go down in a little bit more, putting stuff there to keep it from flying out, as it were. Yeah, it wants to go this way instead. I don't know. Yeah, that seems like a good spot for it. Now it's going to go that way and fall out eventually, but not if I can help it. Just want to go less with this one. I want to make it smaller, but at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to make it smaller. Maybe I just want to throw it in on top of things, so it becomes a little more heat down in. But yeah, it's a pretty well packed area now. It's full. I don't need to put small stuff on it anymore. It's going very well in this area, like I said, and it's going to go up through and down, up and through that area. So, and actually, if I close the door most of the way and then I just tag it open a little bit, we'll see the flame shoot that direction. The vent is all the way open, and sort of catch it. Yeah. I don't know if you can really see that from that angle, but it's with that little bit of air, it's sort of forcing it that way, and then it speeds the flame up a little bit and encourages it to push through and forward. So that's where I'll leave it. In a little while, this is going to be a roaring fire, and I'll have to throw more fodder onto some of this other stuff that is just junk wood. I think that is, downed wood that is scrap that fell out of trees, and a lot of this fell in this last spring. I don't have to do much wood cutting. I'm grateful. There are some other trees that are down and whatnot. And I find stuff on the roadside, and I have friends who have wood lots that are going through things. A friend of mine has ash rounds, so there's a lot of like chunks of stuff that need to get tossed around or whatever. But we'll see where things are. I'm not too concerned. Like I said, having the vision forward of seeing a perspective, seeing things as if they're done, can really create that. How you get from here to there is just the question. That's answered as you do it. And that's where that's at. So all this splitting, every time I split, I get these little tiny pieces and fragments, and all that is something that'll catch on fire, and then we'll have a nice roaring fire. And it's sending more smoke out because it's to forward more, so and I can give some of these pieces a push back, put it down in a little bit more once it's going. That brings back in a ways to encourage the smoke to go up instead of out. Some of that is just, it's here, forward. But, I don't want it to get too smoky in here, so I'll just shut it down until that burns down a bit and back, which it will. So there's that. I'd say it's a good fire going. It'll create a little bit of heat, which is a nice start. It's kind of what I needed. So again, it's important to take the time to split and to add. This is a beautiful piece, and I thought, well, I'm going to do something with it. It has such beautiful stripes to it. That's the nature of eastern red cedar. So you get to see the heartwood, and at some point we'll find an eastern red cedar that's live, and we will talk about it. Or juniper is another one, but the stripes on this are quite striking, and I was going to save it, but at this point it's not as aromatic as it was. I want to carve it again and maybe make it a little bit thinner. Maybe I'll do that instead of burning it, because it is beautiful wood, and it is good for putting in cabinets and whatnot to keep the bugs down. But I have an abundance of it, and I have a few pieces on the saw outside that I don't feel as compelled to save them for anything. But it carves nicely. This is kind of a sheet of it, and they could be, because this is just thick enough to take a screw hole to attach it to a wall, for a what that sound was. Oh gosh, it just smells so good. To attach it to a wall for a cedar closet, or to keep the insects down. What are you doing, Buna? What's over there? Oh, she's going after a mouse or what? Buna. But it looks like I found a layer a between layer, which is in between pieces of wood here, which may have gotten exposed to the weather. It's kind of brown, but I just opened up that. It's pretty. It's just pretty. So there's a little bit of brown down in here, but yeah, just beautiful. And it carves really nicely. And I don't know, it's gonna change a whole lot if I do this side. It'll lighten up a little bit more, become a little more red, because I think it has somewhat oxidized. So it's just a pretty stripe. I will save it because it's just pretty. And it's sitting on the mantle. Well, that's probably not the ideal location for it. But yeah, again, those shavings are really awesome. You know, just taking a handful of it and putting it on a plate and burning it in the space inside, not in the fire itself necessarily, but in the inside a space, in a room. It's a really, really pleasant smell. So looks like our fire is burned down enough to add a couple logs, maybe. I don't know. It looks like you still want it to, you know, churn a little bit more and decompose into a pile that then I can get going from the bottom and have a little more stability to it before I open it up and give it any more energy. We'll just do this, crack it a little bit to encourage it to go faster. It doesn't really change anything. I think it's sending it up pretty much, not out. It's hot out here right now. It feels like it's around 340, 350 degrees right out here, a foot away from it. But when it's really going in the winter, where I'm sitting is too close, and then where the camera is right now, where that is sitting, 2 feet, 3 feet away from it, is too close. In this area, it gets up to around 600 degrees, which is a good thing. I have the, but it also cools down quickly. It's very venty. Like all this area is all air coming in. I want to get it more blocked off for the winter, but having a fire in the winter is very important in the Northeast if you're in an isolated condition. But I'd have to say, with this being right in the space here, some friends in town were saying, oh, it's going to be 20 below tonight. It's going to get cold. I would say, well, what's the temperature in your house? 52. And I said, well, it's 78 here. I think I'm good. 78 degrees. And, you know, I'd be there in the morning. I'd be like, it's still 60, 67, 68 degrees, thereabouts. 65 degrees, whatever, in the morning. And I'd throw another log in. I'd come in the afternoon. The fire would be down a bit, but we'd have a good bed of coals, and it would be down to maybe 50 degrees, which is fine. 50 degrees is pretty toasty when it's 20 below outside. That's a 70-degree difference. So, no, that's pretty good. I'm satisfied with that. I might build out the floor a little bit more from earth and floor to being up on something. But it worked last year. I know what I'm getting into. So it's not very different than an apartment, except in an apartment you don't have a wood stove. Most apartments don't have wood stoves. That is a good thing. I mean, having a wood stove is a good thing. That's what I mean to say. There, It's starting to collapse a little bit, but it's going to be a long time before it's fully collapsed. So I'm going to stop the video for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this fire. And thank you for being part of my life and being part of the channel and what propels all of this going forward. Don't subscribe. Please don't subscribe. We can work on subscriptions another time. Thank you. Cheers. Look at that fire. That's a nice fire.